Coming to composite rent. What do we understand by composite rent? Have you heard about it, composite rent? Any of you? You all know about rent, right? When you give a house for your tenant for some income, that income is called rent. But how is composite rent different from rent? See, along with the house, if you're also providing some other facilities, usage of some facilities, then you'll be charging for the facilities that has been used by your tenant as well. So the charge for the facilities and the charge or the rent for the house both put together is called as composite rent. Okay, if you are charging only rent for the house, it is rental income. You will take it under the head income from house property. But along with house property, you are letting your tenant use the other facilities. For using that facilities, you are charging them additional. So that additional charges, if it is clubbed along with your rent, then this total rent will be called as composite rent. Hope the concept is clear with you all.
Yes, ma'am.
So that is called as composite rent. See, if it is rent for the house property, we know where to show that income, whatever rent you are receiving for the house property. But the rent you are receiving for the facilities, you cannot take it under house property. So that will be taken under the head income from other sources. If you are able to identify and differentiate between what is the rent for the house and what is the charge for the facilities, then rent for the house is taken under the head income from house property and charge for the facilities is taken under the head income from other sources. But if you are not able to differentiate between the amount of charge for facilities and the rent of the house, in that case, you will take the entire amount as composite rent and you will be charging under income from other sources. And these facilities can be anything. So in some cases, in some places, they might be allowing you to use the swimming pool. So it's an additional facility. For that they might charge. Usage of ground or the basketball court or football court, whatever ground. Usage of ground it can be, or usage of clubhouse facility. So for these they might be charging some facilities. For these facilities they might be charging some. So this whole put together is called as um, composite rent, and you'll bring it under the head income from other sources. If you are able to split, you will show the rent associated with the house as rental income and the facility charges will be taken under income from other sources. If you are not able to split, you think that you are receiving 20,000 for facilities and rent, but you don't know how to differentiate what amount should be charged for a house and what amount should be charged for facilities, then in that case entire 20,000 you will take it as composite rent under the head income from other sources. The portion of the rent attributable to the building should be taken under the head income from house property, and the remaining portion which is associated with amenities or facilities or services should be taken under income from other sources. If you cannot separate these two, then you will take the entire rent under the head income from other sources. An example which I just quoted: house plus facilities you are giving on rent, and for this entire thing you are charging 20,000. If you are able to split this 20,000 for how much for house and how much for facilities, that is 15,000 for house and 5,000 for facility, in that case this 15,000 will be charged under the head income from house property. This 5,000 which is associated with facilities will be charged under the head income from other sources. But if you are not able to split this 20,000 between facilities and house, then this entire 20,000 will be charged under the head income from other sources. Only if you are not able to split it, then you will take this as composite rent, and the entire 20,000 will be taxable under the head income from other sources. Hope it is clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll go on to the next one. We all have understood what is composite rent and how do we charge for taxation and where do we take it. Now we will look into the another income under the head income from other sources, that is income from subletting. So what is income from subletting? See, rental income and composite rent, you have a own house. Excuse me. You have a own house and you are giving on a rent for the tenant. But in case of income from subletting, you don't have a own house. You are using a rented house. That is, you are staying in a rented house. But you feel that that rented house, whatever you have taken, is big enough, or you can let it for somebody else. So think that you have taken a 3 BHK on rent. Okay, I'll give you one example. You think that you have rented or you have taken a 3 BHK on rent, and out of these 3 bedrooms, one room you are letting it to the third party. Okay, and for this 3 BHK, you are paying rent of 30,000 for the owner. Actual owner, you are paying 30,000. This is the rent paid by you. Okay, and this one room which you are letting it for maybe 5,000, 5 or 6,000. Right? So this 5,000 is the income for you. This 5,000 what you are receiving as in rental income for that one room is an income for you. But whatever 30,000 you are paying for the entire house to the to the house owner will be the expenditure for you. So here you have earned an income of 5,000. But to earn this income, you are paying the rent even for this one room. For total 3 BHK, you are paying 30,000. For one room also, you would have paid something. So think that this is only will this one room will take only 15% of the house space. So in that case, out of 30,000, which is for 100% of the house space, 15,000 is an expenditure for this one room. So 15,000 of 30,000 will be taken as expenditure. So income minus expenditure, whatever you get is a taxable amount. Did you all understand the concept of subletting? First of all, you are staying in a rented house. In that rented house, one portion you are giving on a rent to somebody else, and you are earning income from the rented house. That is income from subletting. Got it?
Yes,
Understood the
ma'am.
concept of subletting? A is the actual owner. You have taken the house on rent from A. Okay, you have started staying in that house. Then, in the due course, you think you will rent one portion of the house to somebody else. So that income what you receive will be called as income from sublet. This is the concept of subletting. So whatever rent you are receiving from the sublet portion is the income you will take, and whatever expenditure you incur on this portion of the house you will deduct it, and whatever you get the remaining residual will be the taxable income from subletting. So this is about income from subletting. So we have learnt and understood how to treat composite rent, how to treat income from subletting. Now we will look into the other income, that is insurance commission. See here, whatever we are discussing, these are the incomes, probable incomes which an individual can earn, which the assessee can earn. So insurance commission is whenever think that you are working as an insurance agent for one of the financial institutions, maybe for ICICI Bank or LIC or any other financial institution. So your job is to sell the insurance policies. So whenever you sell each of the policy, whenever your client pays the premium, you'll be receiving commission, right? You're doing your job and you're receiving commission on that. And here insurance commission, what you receive is an income. And where can we show this income? We cannot show it as salary income, right? and also not in any of the other heads. So insurance commission income, whatever you're receiving, you will have to show it under the head income from other sources. Okay, and your insurance income, whatever your insurance commission income, if you're receiving some amount which is less than 20,000, the institution, the financial institution or the bank will not deduct any tax. They'll give the gross amount. So gross up you don't have to do. But if your earning from insurance commission is more than 20,000, they will deduct tax. They will deduct TDS. So in that case, whatever you receive as commission, insurance commission will be the net amount. And we all know that whenever we are receiving net amount, we will have to gross it up. We will have to convert it into gross amount using the formula which we had discussed yesterday when we are discussing to calculate interest on securities. Clear? So this is with regards to insurance commission. Clear? Understood all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Then coming to gift. Remember we had discussed about these gifts, how we charge to tax. So what was the provision with regards to gift? What is the provision with regards to gifts? How was it taxable? Remember?
Ma'am, gift from relatives was not taxable. Gift from non-relatives, if it exceeds 50,000, it was taxable.
Very good. So if you're receiving gift from relatives or on occasion of birthday or your wedding, then in that case, whatever may be the amount of gift, it will not be taxable. It is exempt. But if you're receiving gift from non-relatives, then in that case, if the total value of the gift is more than 50,000, the entire amount will be taxable. And whenever it is more than 50,000, where do we show it as income is? We show this income under the head income from other sources. Clear? Simple it is. Not much adjustments are there. Understood till here? Composite rent, income from subletting, insurance commission and gift. All of you understood this?
Yes.
So till here we have covered. Now we will look into the rental income from machinery, plant and furniture. See, whenever sometimes not only the house you will rent, if you have machinery or any plant or furniture, you might rent it. So when you rent it, you will be receiving the rent, and that is again an income. Whenever there is an income, the income tax rules will be applicable on that. So how do we treat this income? As we all know, we'll have to bring this income, whatever rent you receive from any of these three, under the head income from other sources. But for earning this income, you might be incurring expenses. So such expenses should be deducted. See, with regards to machinery, plant and furniture, what are the expenses you might incur? Maybe repairs. So that you can deduct. Then maybe you would have taken an insurance policy. So that whatever premium you paid on the insurance policy can be deducted. And also, since it is an asset, you'll have to provide for depreciation to replace this asset. So you'll have to charge depreciation. So depreciation amount, repairs amount, and any insurance premium which is paid, that can be deducted from the rent income you're earning from any of these three. And this will be chargeable to tax under the income from other sources. See here. So this income, that is income, rental income from machinery, plant or furniture, is to be computed after making the following deductions. That is expenses, whatever you incur, insurance premium, whatever you pay, and the depreciation, whatever you charge. Think that your rental income is 30,000 rupees. Expenses is for expenses towards repairs is 1,000. Insurance premium you are paying is 1,200. Depreciation is 1,000. You will have to deduct these. These are the expenditures, and this is the income you are receiving. So this will be the taxable rental income. This is how we compute. Then we have under partially taxable, we have this last one, deemed incomes. What do we understand by deemed incomes is there are some incomes which where you don't know how to explain that income. You don't know how to explain as to from where you got this income, how you got this income. So in that case, if you have any such income, that will be termed as deemed incomes and taken under the head income from other sources. For example, smuggling it can be. You would have got some gold or any other article without paying tax or without the permission. Somehow you would have brought it. It's an income for you. So such incomes will be taxable under this head. And to earn that income, if you have incurred any expenses, that can be deducted. Except for casual income, to earn any of these incomes, if you are incurring any expenses, such expenses can be deducted from the income, except for casual income. So this is about deemed income. And the other incomes, that is from mining, rent, royalties, ground rent to other incomes, everything will be fully taxable. That is how much income you received in the name of these will be fully taxable without any deduction. Those are mining rent, royalties, ground rent, withdrawal from NSS, agricultural income from a place outside India. If it is from inside India, it is exempt. From outside India, if you are earning agricultural income, you show it under this head. Director's fees or commission, salaries received by a member of parliament. If you are MP or MLA or MLC, you might be receiving some amount of salary from the government. So that cannot be taken under the head income from salary, but it should be shown here. Rent from land, examination fees received by the teacher. It can be the lecturer or the teacher or anybody who is in the teaching fraternity. So if they are receiving examination remuneration, that means that they are receiving from university, not from the institution. Only with the institution they have the employer-employee relationship, but university they are not employer-employee relationship. They are the governing body. So whatever they receive can be shown here. Then interest on employees' contribution to URPF, that we will show it here. Remuneration received for writing articles in journals. So any income you receive for writing any articles or research papers in journals, you can show it here. Any annuity or pension received from LIC. Remuneration for lectures delivered. Other than the regular classroom, if you are invited as a resource person and you are delivering some lectures or giving orientation and you are receiving some compensation or remuneration or something in return, that will be considered and taken, that will be considered as income and taken under this head. Then other incomes. See, the income tax problem, they have listed some incomes. Other than this, if you have any other income which are not exempted and which does not fall under any of the first four heads of income, you can bring it here. So that is what it says. And for income from other sources, you can claim exemption under section 57. Under section 57, exemption can be claimed for any expenditure that is incurred wholly for the purpose of earning this income. To earn this income, if you are incurring any expenditure, that can be claimed as exemption under section 57 for income from other sources. So after you deduct this, whatever you get is the taxable income from other sources. Clear, all of you?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if you have any doubt, you can ask me. And along this is the theory part, what we need to know for working out the problems on income from other sources. And here we are ending the theory part. And for grossing up net interest it will be available for, but TDS rate or tax rate you need to know. For that I have a small table where I can tell you. So first we will start with casual income. For casual income, TDS rate is the highest, that is 30%. Then for commission, whether it is insurance commission or commission you earn on sale of lottery tickets, TDS is 5%. And for all others it is 10%. So you should remember this for grossing up of the net interest. So that's it from my side with regard to theoretical aspect of income from other sources. So whatever we have learned, all this we are going to apply when we are solving the problem. So I want you to go through it, and since we have some time, if you have any doubts in any of these things, or you want me to explain any of these again, you can let me know. We'll make use of this time. Okay. The session is open for doubt clearance.